I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong. I was on the record as saying that the Jets would trade for Devontae Adams within an hour of losing to the Bills, like during the post-game press conference, basically. I was wrong. It took almost 11 hours. And believe me, I know how to tell time because here on the Mafia Minute, it's always Bills o'clock. I am Magnum Mills here with Jamie G. This is the Mafia Minute presented by Caesar Gap Fantasy Football. Thank you for checking out our show. You can find us wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. We're on social media at Caesar Gap FF and on the World Wide Web at MafiaMinute.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps. FLAPS. They are very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you're part of the tribe, if you had fun, please remember to hit that thumb. Go Bills. You're in the Mafia. Jamie G's he's going to bring you in right now. You can do the little ceremony, all that. There is a table involved. It is bring your own table. Jamie G, how you doing, man? Got to be a little bit better than the last 2 weeks, right?
Let's go, Buffalo. What a great win on Monday Night Football. We made it more difficult than it had to be, but damn it if it wasn't entertaining. We're feeling good on this Tuesday morning, this victory here, Tuesday night now. Been celebrating this win. Looking forward to Sunday at home. This was a good one, Mills. Nice to get a big game, big win on Monday Night Football. What's up, Bills Mafia?
Yeah, you're gonna have to retrain yourself for the very now rare Sunday 1 p.m. game, but we are not quite there yet. What we are doing right now is the Bills on Parade, the latest Buffalo Bills news, rumors, and nonsense right off the top. Jamie G, breaking alert, the big one. I was going to ask you before, like, hey, do the Bills need to make a move at wide receiver? Well, we don't need to ask, do they? Because they did. The Bills traded for Cleveland Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper. They sent a 2025 third round pick and a 2026 seventh round pick to the Browns for Amari Cooper and a 2026 sixth round pick. And Jamie G, if you want to compare that, the New York Jets did also trade for Devontae Adams. They sent a third that can become a second, but they had to pick up the entirety of Devontae Adams' massive salary, about $1 million a week, while Amari Cooper has a cap charge under $1 million due to a restructure. What do you think, Jamie G? We said, maybe the Bills don't absolutely have to make a trade. Now that they made it, obviously we haven't seen Cooper play or anything, but now that you know what the Bills paid, you know what the Jets gave up for Devontae Adams, what's the initial grade of acquisition here?
I'm giving it an A. I think this is an absolutely an A. This is an upgrade to this football team, and I love that they went out and they got a guy that can be a bona fide number one. He's been a number one virtually on almost every team he's played on, right, including most recently in Cleveland. He can step on this team and be the number one wide receiver in this team, and just I think the acquisition makes everybody in the room that much better. I really do. I think this opens up Khalil Shakir more how they want to use him. This allows them the ability to put Keon Cole on the inside and mix Keon Coleman on the inside and mix him around a little bit. And I just think this makes the whole team better, and it gives defenses somebody they have to respect. And it's a skill set that's different than other players on the team. We're talking about a technician route runner, separation, and can stretch the field, going deep. So I really like this, Mills, but I mostly like it because it was within the realm of possibilities. And you got to give Brandon Beane a little bit of credit here. We're talking about, paying less than $1 million in the cap, certainly within our budget. We're talking about adding a player that's going to be highly motivated, that's been in enough systems where I think he can come in and contribute right away. And you didn't really have to give up, you gave up a third, which I think the Bills expect to be a late third. And I love the swapping of the seventh to get a sixth. And that's not just anything because, one thing here that I really like is Cleveland, could be picking the top three picks, top five picks in the draft here. So you could be getting a potential very high six here for what you think might be a very low seven. So I think this was a really good deal. And I'm excited for Amari Cooper to wear a Bills jersey.
We talked about this before. It's the deal that made the most sense. Like you said, he's a consummate professional, great route runner, should be a very good example for Keon Coleman. The salary was nice. And I believe when you factor in that kind of the late pick swap there, it works out to roughly giving up the number 100 pick next year for Cooper, which is basically like a compensatory third round pick at the end of the round. I think that's very fair. We had talked about that being the price, and if you want, if everything goes well, maybe you can work something out. I know he will be looking for a new job next year, but that also adds to it. Cleveland sucked for him right now. Everything was going downhill still there. This has to be like a breath of fresh air for him. He gets to play with an elite quarterback on a team with real Super Bowl aspirations. So I think you're going to really see Amari Cooper be energized, doing his best to both win for the Bills and maximize his contract going forward. I think it feels like you're very happy that you got Cooper instead of Adams. I think overall, even if Adams is a little bit more highly regarded, I think that was the right move for the Bills. And Jamie, you were telling something was going on with Deion Dawkins on social media there on Instagram, whatever. What was up with Deion Dawkins?
Yeah, you gotta love Doc. You already know here. This was pretty hilarious. Anybody who watched the game last night, and obviously Bills Mafia did, you saw it was pretty chippy. And this dates back, man. There's some bad blood. There's some grudge here. Last year, most famously, Michael Clemens of the Jets got into it, Deion Dawkins on the field. It carried over into the tunnel heading into the locker room and then spilled over into the summer. And Deion Dawkins has been very vocal about we don't like the Jets. They're punks. They play to look cool. They don't, like he said some choice stuff. Well, after this game, and it was snippy, we got some penalties and everything unsportsmanlike. Some of them were bullshit, some of them were whatever. But it was a snippy game, man. But what I like about this is he literally went and a couple of fans made these little gifs, these little memes, whatever you want to call them, where it was like a Jets defensive player's face in like a wrestling match, like WWE style. And then like they'd put Deion Dawkins on the rock and have him like drop the elbow. And then the one that was just absolutely crazy was it was like all of the, three or four of the Jets defensive stars with just their face on like these wrestlers backstage. This is dating back to like the 90s era, which was the Attitude Era, which was a great era for WWE wrestling. And he comes in as Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's got Deion Dawkins' face. He literally just wrecks him, dude, hitting them all with shit backstage. It was hilarious. But I think it speaks something, man. I think this is more than just division game. I think legitimately Deion Dawkins and some of the players on our offensive line particularly do not like the Jets and their defense. So add a little bit of fuel to the fire, made me laugh. I thought it was pretty damn cool.
I love that. I love Deion Dawkins, Temple alumni. Go Owls. And then finally, last order of business here, Jamie G. This is a little bit of a weird one. I can see you being conflicted here. Jason Kelsey seems to like all of a sudden be full on Bills Mafia. He was on the pregame show wearing the Bills hat and then dressing up like Fred Flintstone. Then he wore the Bills suit with the colors with the chicken wing pendant. Is this legal or is this okay? As an Eagles fan, I'm willing to allow it, but his brother is Travis Kelsey. Is this okay or is this a little bit of a conflict of interest here?
Well, this is interesting because I think if had he been obviously he's a bird, Philadelphia guy through and through. The city loves him and obviously so, but had he been drafted to the Bills, I think it would be this I think it would be the same type of thing here, big time. And I think he really loves and appreciates the fan base. Last year at the playoff game, he fully embraced it, went shirtless. Obviously, we lost to the Chiefs. It sucked, but I think he really respects the Bills Mafia, just what that football team is. And I also think he loves Josh Allen. But he picked up the chicken wing, actually tailgating, partying with Bills Mafia before the game. Gotta love that, man. So I'm okay with it. It was a little weird, but you know what, dude? Anybody who wants to embrace the Mafia, I respect him, and I'm down with it, man. He's welcome into the crew as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you gotta have a big tent, man. You gotta have a big tent, and he is seriously just a fantastic human being, extremely entertaining. Yes, he would have fit right in Buffalo, no doubt. And now I'm just sad because what I really want is an R-rated action comedy starring Jason Kelsey and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, it can be
Yes.
set in Philadelphia and Buffalo. I don't really care how tongue in cheek it is or whatever. They can have the beards, they can shave the beards. I don't really care, but that's something I will pay hard earned, folding, cold hard cash to see. I would love to see that. Hollywood work on that. Jamie G, let's work on the injury report here. And I think thankfully, not as much work as we've had the past couple of weeks, right?
Not as much. We appear to, knock on wood here, have come out of Monday night without any major new injuries. We still got two big names to monitor as we head into week 7. It is a short week. Luckily, we're at home, but it's a short week. And that's James Cook dealing with that toe. He did not play Monday night in Jersey against the Jets. And then, of course, defensive tackle Ed Oliver, hamstring. Sean McDermott was asked prior to this game when he ruled him out for the Jets if it was going to be an IR situation. He said no, it looked like he was trending the right way, and he's hopeful for this week. So I'm hopeful we get both these guys back this week and start to get a little bit healthy as we enter a crucial stretch of the schedule here that I really think we need to own to set us up for what we want to do later in the year.
Right, we're pushing it to the limit, like Scarface over here. That brings us to the game review. Let's start out with my keys, Jamie G's keys to victory. Get out the red pen. Maybe you'll lead it this week. Maybe you won't. Jamie G, I need you to evaluate, to grade your keys to victory. How did the Bills do in week 6?
Starting off, we said we need to get the ball out quickly, max protect Josh when necessary. We gave up 2 sacks for -5 yards, but they were really the only 2 hits in two kind of plays that the Bills gave up. One of them was on a scramble where Josh got tripped up, so really not even that big of a deal. I think that's good for us. Allen, he was sacked on 5.4% of his dropbacks. Not a whole lot there. We went into heavy formation with additional offensive linemen on the field. We used that throughout the game. I think, there were some penalties on the offensive line, specifically pre-snap penalties, which drive me nuts. And that's the only thing I'm docking it here. But I thought we set the tone early on from that first drive with, I think, 7 out of 8 plays being running the football and basically ran it down their throats. And we had that essentially all game. And a big part of the reason why was the offensive line. And I thought Josh was protected throughout too. So I'm going to say this is a pass. Nailed this one. Number 2. Overcome the emotional energy of a Jets team at home. Their backs against the wall, new coach bounce, new play caller, the whole thing. Look, I don't like giving up points on the first 2 Jets drives. That's been an uncomfortable trend the last 3 weeks. But they did manage to hold them to a field goal on that first drive. And then, we answered with a touchdown. I think that's good. The Hail Mary at the end of the half couldn't have been, it was terrible. It's inexcusable, but it could have turned the momentum back towards the Jets. The Bills defense only gave up 3 points in the second half. It was a couple missed field goals by the Jets, but we had problems in the kicking game too. I'm going to say you gave up the Hail Mary. I don't love that. And really, there was a couple times in this game where we could have pulled away. This game should have been a 10 to 10 plus point margin for the Bills. I'm gonna give this a pass, but it's a weak pass. I think that we could have did a lot better here. We won the game, so I'm gonna give it a pass. But honestly, man, we had several times to put them away, and we just didn't. We let them kind of still hang in the game and still make that energy and everything that they had kind of come to fruition. So I'm gonna pass it, but just barely. And number 3, continue to get production out of the running game with James Cook out. I was really worried about this if you go back and watch our last episode where we previewed this game. As a team, we had 33 carries for 149 yards. We averaged 4.5 per carry. We had the rushing touchdown. We probably should have 2. Josh Allen stole one in there. That should have probably went to the running back. I think we could have probably did something else in the red zone as well. But we scored touchdowns, so I'm not going to nitpick. Ray Davis, he did the bulk of the heavy lifting. He had 20 carries for 97 yards, 4.9 yards per carry. That's great. Especially against the Jets. Ty Johnson chipped in. He was effective. Only 4 carries, but 34 yards. Set the tone on the opening play. I think he got 9 or 10 yards. So that was really nice to see. Josh was somewhat inefficient. I mean, nine carries for 18 yards, but he found the end zone. He got in there. And they also used him, I think, in the most important play of the game, which was the 3rd and 6, when they had the ball at the end where he scrambled and got the first down to essentially win the game. I'm gonna give it a pass here with pretty much flying colors, Mills. They ran the ball at will. They were super effective without their best running back, and they put the team on the rookies back there in Ray Davis, and he showed up, man, in a big way. We got production out of the running game as much as we wanted. It was there, and it was really effective, and I think it's a big reason why we won the game. Last but certainly not least, ABC, always be converting. Talked about third down efficiency, and we talked about in the red zone. I think this is a flying color pass. We were 5 and 11 on third down, much better than we've been. We converted 3 out of 4 red zone trips into touchdowns. We got a Bass field goal on the other, so really 4 out of 4 for points in the red zone. This is a pass for me. We also won the conversion battle. I mentioned 5 of 11. The Jets were 4 of 12 on third down. They only converted one of the four red zone trips to a touchdown. So I think we definitely won that, got the edge. I'm going to give this a pass. So all four were passes. Three was weak with, or I'm sorry, two was weak with the emotional energy because we let them stay in the game, but we're passing. So all four, Mills, clean sweep for your boy.
I'm good with P for pass and D for diploma, whatever way you want to put it. And let me ask you, you talked about the running backs coming through without James Cook. Do you think Ray Davis has earned himself at least a couple more touches a game going forward?
I think he has. I don't know that this is going to be dramatic. And I think he knows that. And I think Joe Brady knows that. James Cook is absolutely dynamic. And if he would have been playing, I think he would have had a huge game too. But I think they find a way to use him. And I think they find a way to create a different type of attack with a two-headed monster here. So I think he is definitely an uptick. I'm not sure how much of an uptick, but I think there will be one.
Uptick, up doc, what's in the up doc? I don't know, but I also don't know what your predictions were. Oh, wait, I do. Jamie G, you were coming in hot. You had three predictions for week 6. We do them Buffalo Wing style. You had a mild prediction, you had a medium prediction, you had a hot one. How did those work out for you? Do the same thing here. Break out that Sharpie, grade your predictions.
Yeah, the mild was the Bills defense was going to sack Aaron Rodgers at least once. That's pretty mild. And you know what? It was successful. We sacked Rodgers 3 times. Should have been four if it wasn't for one of the worst penalties I've ever seen called in the history of my life watching football, which was a sack, beautiful sack by AJ Epinesa, his second of the game, called back for a roughing the passer, which was absolutely disgusting. And Aaron Rodgers even called it out after the game, saying that was not roughing the passer. However, 3 times that counts as a win. That is a pass, Mills. Medium, Josh Allen will complete at least 70% of his pass attempts. I thought this was a traditional Buffalo medium here. It's a hot, but it's tasty. And son of a bitch, it was. This was a big success too. He went 19 to 25, 76% completion rate. We hit that. We're feeling good about it. Last but not least, my hot was the Bills will rush for 100 yards as a team against the Jets, their feared defense, all that. And you know what, Mills? Another success. We rushed for 149 yards on 33 carries. Another clean sweep here for your boy. Go Bills. It's awesome.
And that makes us correct. And we said, hey, if they can accomplish all of these things, they're going to win that game. They did. And they did. We like that, but it was not flawless. You don't have the Mortal Kombat flawless victory. Cue the AZ because there were a couple problems. JBG, we have to start out right up top with your guy, Tyler Bass, dude. Will the Bills have a different kicker in week 7?
I'm gonna say no, but it wouldn't totally surprise me. I think the other kicker struggling in that game almost bought him another week. He did hit the one at the end when we really needed it, but missing the extra point, absolutely inexcusable. I couldn't tell if that was blocked or not. Didn't look like it, but just looked like a terrible kick on his part. I mean, I think that looks like I kicked it. I mean, let's be real, that was horrible. And then it was a 47 yarder, but Mills, unfortunately for Tyler Bass and any other kicker, we're living in an era where kickers are automatic from within 50, but not only that, they're hitting 50, 55, 60, 65. It's becoming a weapon and a strategy. And unfortunately, the Bills don't have that. They seem to have a liability with Bass, even on ones that we think should be automatic. So I'm disappointed in him. It's been an ongoing thing. I think he sticks, but I think it wouldn't shock me totally, but I do think he sticks for at least week 7.
What do you think? How many field goals in a row and extra points does he have to convert to get back in the circle of trust? Like his next 10 extra points and at least like his next 6 field goals or something like that. Like he's got to be pretty much perfect for at least a few games, right? To get back in the circle of trust. Otherwise, I think just one game with a missed field goal and a missed extra point, and it's probably curtains, right?
Yeah, and I think that's really good, and also I think that it depends on which type. When we need some clutch kicks out of him, right? Like if we need him to hit when there's a little bit of weather. We need him to hit a 52 yarder, a 53 yarder. We need him to hit in a big moment. I think that will go a long way. But yeah, we need to forget about this for at least a 3, 4 games, a quarter of a season here. If we went by the month of November, if we get to the end of November and he's been money, I think he's back where he belongs. But I think that's what it takes. Unfortunately, we're at that part.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much spot on there. And you mentioned it a little bit. Is there anything else you want to say about the Bills giving up the Hail Mary at the end of the first half? I know it was basically just random. Somehow we've seen Rodgers do this a couple of times before. Are you willing to just write this one off, or should someone have to pay? I mean, if the Bills had lost this game, we'd be talking about this for years, right? So because they won, it gets forgotten about. But if they had lost, oh boy.
It's inexcusable, and yeah, I mean, we had the one in Arizona a couple of years ago where we lost. We went on an absolute tear after that loss. It's inexcusable. You got to be better at this. I get that it's a freak thing. Less than 1% of the time it happens, but it's inexcusable. I don't know what. I love Taron Johnson, and he ended up having a huge play in this game and played really well. But he's like blocking him out, looking behind him. What are you doing? You got to win. You got to high point, get the ball down. And if those aren't the right guys, we should have put, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid and Matt Collins and some of our skill receivers up there to go up there and freaking knock the thing down. That was just it's inexcusable. I don't care who's throwing the football, how many times it's happened. You cannot let that happen at all. I just it's sickening.
I think that is fair enough. We're not going to dwell on that. And then the final thing here is just once again, you saw the opposing team come out, score on both their first two drives, and the running back had success again in the passing game. Willing to write that one off a little bit because that is Brees Hall. He's definitely one of the more talented pass catching backs in the league. At least he only got you for like 55 yards, didn't burn you for a hundo and a touchdown or something like that. But you still have to be a little bit worried that you can't seem to get that initial stop or two in the game, right? At least the Bills did hold to a field goal in their first drive, answered with a touchdown of their own, but then the Jets came right back, got another touchdown, settled in after that. But you got to clean up those slow starts on defense, right?
Yeah, it just feels like this has become a trend where we kind of get out there, we kind of just we're just kind of reacting, seeing what they're doing, and then we figure it out. But unfortunately, we fell down 14, 17 points, and now all of a sudden we're in trouble. We saw that happen both in Baltimore and in Houston. And we can't continue to allow that to happen. So I think we need to start faster on defense. They settle in and play well, and you take away that fluky kind of Hail Mary here. We're talking about a Jets team that scored one touchdown in their set offense. So I get the Hail Mary, all that, but that's really not offense. That's just kind of a fluke play. So I think the Bills were really good on defense in the red zone. It's too much bend but don't break for my liking, 100%. But we absolutely have to be better initially. We can't continue to give up, touchdown drives and points on the, first 2 or 3 times the opposing team gets the ball.
Yeah, eventually it'll just back to bite you in the ass having to play from behind so many games in a row. Trust me, I am an Eagles fan. We are the only team that has yet to score points in the first quarter. So I know all about playing from behind. Not optimal, Jamie G. Let me just tell you, it's not where you want to be.
And it tests your patience as a play caller and a player, because now all of a sudden you're pressing and you get away from the run game or the plan you had or whatever it is. And I credit Brady for sticking with it. I think he learned that lesson against Baltimore, but it's still not optimal. And I think defensively we got to be better in the first quarter of football games.
Yeah, you just don't want to put that pressure on your defense. They go out there, they give up a long first drive, they manage to hold them to a field goal. Offense goes three and out, and then they're back, right out there on the field again. That didn't happen necessarily in this game, but if you're not careful, those are the kind of situations you get in. And if you just keep doing that, it's just adding an extra degree of difficulty that you don't need to your game. So we don't want to do that. Anything else you want to mention about the matchup before we get into the award tour here?
No, I thought it was. I knew this was going to be a close game for a bunch of different reasons. But I'm proud of the Bills for going on the road, third one in a row, and winning a big one. This was big, man. They needed to do it. I like the sense of urgency we saw offensively, and I like kind of the defense settling back in, getting Taron Johnson out there, getting Taylor Rapp back, getting Terrell Bernard now in his second game. I think the defense is going to get better the more they play together here, but I think it's definitely going to be a thing as the season goes on. So, but great win on a Monday night. Go Bills. We loved it.
Every win is good. They're not all great. That was one they needed. It was pretty great. And you mentioned Taylor Rapp. He was laying the rap down out there. Boy was putting the lumber out there. He had a couple of big hits. I like that. I know you liked it, but was it your Mafia moment? Jamie G, what is your Mafia moment? Your absolute favorite moment from this week 6 victory?
There was a lot to choose from, but I'm going to go with Taron Johnson's game-sealing interception here. I just thought that was so key for him coming back. It was a great play, and if that play goes the other way, maybe we're in overtime, maybe we're having a different conversation. So I really thought that was huge. I knew once our offense got the ball, given the success we had running it, we were going to be able to run the clock out and win that game, and that's the best way to win games. I love that. So I got to give it to Taron Johnson. First game back, comes up with a huge play at the end.
It was such a good play that it caused Aaron Rodgers to throw his teammate Mike Williams under the bus and like have the bus like back up and run him over again. Pretty
Yeah.
brutal there. And then trade for his replacement and have the team put Mike Williams on the trade block. So that's
Yeah. Is he
Aaron
even on the
Rodgers.
roster right now? I don't know if he's
He's
even
on
on
the
the
rooster.
roster.
Yeah, he's on the rooster, but they're actively trying to move him. My guess is they will wind up moving him for probably a late round pick and having to eat about half the salary. But that's what you do when you're the Jets. And if you're on the Mafia Minute, you just won a game. You have to give your Mafia MVP. Jamie G, I think I know who it's going to be, but tell me who's taking home the hardware here as your MVP for this Week 6 Monday Night Football victory.
If you missed the post game on ESPN last night, he came out, he talked, he fired up Bills Mafia in the house, just packed around where they were giving the interviewing him, wearing the cowboy hat, an incredible story outside of football, an incredible game. I'm giving it to number 22. I take it real serious when somebody wears 22, especially a running back, because of my love. And I have deep, deep, deep love. And I know all Bills Mafia does for Freddie Jackson. We felt that was a jersey that should have been retired. Freddie Jackson is, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame player. Love, love, love Freddie Jacks. But Ray Davis. Ray Davis came out in a game against a division rival. He's wearing number 22. He's a rookie. He has an incredible story. He comes out when we don't have James Cook and we're going against a division opponent on the road, Monday Night Football. And this is a game we got to have, and it's a very good defense. And what's he do? It's not too big for him. He absolutely dominated. He was phenomenal in the running game. He had great vision. He was ball security. The moment wasn't too big for him. He got yards after the catch. I was really impressed with how he laid the lumber and pick up 3-4 yards after contact. And he was effective in the passing game, coming up with a huge play down the field on a scramble drill. He just was phenomenal in this game. And for a rookie on Monday night on the road, it wasn't too big for him. I'm really excited about his future. He absolutely deserves to be the Mafia MVP. Great game, Ray Davis.
I liked him going into the game. I love him after having watched the game. Just absolutely great. Totally co-sign with that. And Jamie G, we have to check in on your final score prediction. You were pretty close on this one, man. You had Buffalo 24, Jets 17. Final, Bills 23, Jets 20. Very close, 43 points. You had 41. You had them winning by 7. They won by 3. Maybe you could have made a field goal here or there, gotten pretty close to that scoring margin, but I think you have to feel pretty good about that one. And I think you're going to be feeling pretty good about the results of your Bills bet as well. I got hosed on mine a little bit. I was convinced it was going to be Braylon Allen Day. I had Brees Hall under 45 and a half rushing yards. I did not take into account that the new coaching, they're not new coaching staff, but at least the new offensive play caller might go back to the well, really feature Brees Hall. So that got me over one there. Jamie G, you went deep with it. You went with a nugget. You said Dawson Knox is going to score an anytime touchdown. He did. That was plus 400. That's awesome. Not going to lie. I put $5 on Dawson Knox to score 2 touchdowns. That was $5 to win 405. After that first touchdown, I was really hoping for the second touchdown. I am not going to lie, but I'm happy that you hit your Bills bet. We also had a Bills tripod, a 3-leg single game parlay. Jamie G, we were oh so close. We had 2 or 3. We had Brees Hall 40 plus receiving yards, easy peasy. Aaron Rodgers over 0.5 interceptions. Took to the end, but we got there. But we also had the Bills minus 0.5 points in the first quarter. Just they had to be leading after the first quarter. They were down 10-7 after the first quarter. That's the only one that tripped us up. But congratulations. You want to take a victory lap on your Dawson Knox TD?
Yeah, I'm really proud of this one. I played this one in real life and was super happy to see it come. It was, first of all, it was an awesome play, right? Josh just doing Josh saying somehow goes underneath the arm of a defensive tackle, runs to his left, throws a bullet to Dawson Knox in the end zone, and then runs up to celebrate. Just super cool stuff here. But we talked about him early in the week here, and he said, he loves him as a person, loves him as a player. They've been together for years now, and he wants to get him involved. It just felt like he was going to find him in the end zone tonight, and he did. And we needed it, man. So I'm really proud of this one. Happy to see Dawson Knox get in there. I think Dawson Knox is a good player, and he doesn't get, he's so selfless, man. He does a lot in the blocking game, both in when we're passing the football and running the football. He's just a great team guy, great guy. Love to see this one, Mills.
I love it. I just would have loved to have seen that second touchdown a little bit more. And when we recorded last week, we didn't have the pricing out for DraftKings, so we didn't really get to go in depth with our draft Joshes, our DraftKings picks for the Bills showdown. But I will say you pretty much needed Josh Allen a captain. You had to go with Ray Davis over Ty Johnson, add in Garrett Wilson, add in Brees Hall. You're basically there. Maybe throw in Mac Hollins, and that's basically the optimal lineup. Something you could have gotten to, but once again, it pays to have Josh Allen in your captain spot. So next week we have a 1 p.m. Sunday game. We'll be able to have those picks in our week 7 preview. Make sure you check out that episode. Jamie G, one final order of business. We won. So it's time to add something to the Mafia Mannequin. If you've ever seen the movie Major League, this is basically the reverse of what they do. Instead of starting out with a clothed mannequin and taking a piece off for every win, we're starting with basically a naked mannequin and adding something every time the Bills win. Jamie G, we start out with a pretty naked mannequin. He did have some boxer shorts on. He's since gotten a nice pair of aviator sunglasses, a nice diamond chain, and his own ocelot bamboo. So he's styling so far. We get to add something here. What are you putting on for the 4th victory of the season?
Yeah, man. They often talk about Josh Allen having to put on his cape and become, the superhero that he is. You know what, Josh? I think with the Amari Cooper trade, this running game, this offensive line, you're not going to have to wear that cape as much anymore. I'm going to go ahead and give our mannequin the cape, but not just any cape, Mills. He's going to have a Zubaz cape, wear that thing proud. He's going to be all over the lot with his ocelot. I cannot wait to drink beers with this guy in Hammerlot with the Ocelot. It's going to be incredible. Give him the cape, the Zubaz cape.
I am with that. It's also an excellent It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference back to the Gang Gets Invincible, where they had to open tryouts, and there were, in fact, a couple of people trying out for the Eagles in capes. We've mentioned it. We will be back to preview the Week 7 matchup against the Titans on our next episode. Jamie G, anything to add before we get out of here?
Celebrate this win, Bills Mafia. We had 2 tough games in a row. It wasn't perfect, but as Josh said, we'll take them how we get them. We're 4-2 at the end of the day. We're in first place of the AFC East, and we got a real shot now. And I'm proud of this team for rebounding. They lost 2. They had a tough stretch, 3 games in a row. Came back on Monday Night Football with all the stuff that was going on with the Jets, and they won the football game. That's all that matters. Celebrate it. We got a short week. We got the best defense in the league, #1 ranked, coming into our house against Tennessee. This is a game we should win, and a game I think we need to win, particularly with how the schedule goes. We got to stretch here winnable games. I think we got to win them all, man. So let's start this Sunday, 1 o'clock. Get used to a 1 o'clock game. Get your liver ready this week. It's different than these nighttime games. Enjoy this one, and we'll see you here later on to preview Sunday football, 1 p.m. Buffalo Bills taking on Tennessee Titans in Orchard Park. Let's get it. Go Bills.
Metallica says kill them all. Here on the Mafia Minute, we say win them all. Thank you for checking out our show. The Mafia Minute is presented by CZGAP Fantasy Football. Once again, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We're on social media at CZGAPFF and on the World Wide Web at MafiaMinute.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, remember to hit the thumb. Jamie G, you have one last job. Get everyone excited for the Bills in this Week 7 matchup.
You know what? We're 4-2. We're in first place. We got a chance to be 5-2. We get a home game finally. Finally, we're at home. Let's show up. Let's go crazy, and let's watch them dominate and win at home. We'll see you here soon. Go Bills, baby.
gonna be awesome, dude.
We might actually get further in this little tryout than we thought. You see how many yahoos are trying out?
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of people wearing capes.
There are like 15 guys wearing
You
capes.
seen that? Why would you wear a cape? What advantage does that give you?
Absolutely none.
None,
You don't
right?
have a little respect.